not happened, so I don't know if that's an alternative choice.
Is it a choice? Have you called or
Well, I'm not
said
going to do it
anything?
without. Yeah, I've mentioned that maybe we can just not do it. So that doesn't go well because she feels that we need to do it.
Okay. Um, does she agree that it costs too much money or that
Well,
it is unnecessary, or
it
does
feels like,
she
yeah, I
disagree?
think she says it's unnecessary, but we have to do it. It's kind of like, that's most important. And then in terms of the money, I think it's just one of those things like you have to do. So there's no reason to take it any further. Just do it and be done with it. You know, well, I can see her point a little bit. You know, but that doesn't help the fact that what we're, when you start now after Thanksgiving and you look at what you're gonna put out in terms of money,
Mm-hmm.
and that, it becomes a tremendous amount. I mean, it becomes a there's no way to get ahead if you're going to put out that much effort in terms of money you work for. Then you start the new year in the hole. So and I'm sure many people live this way, and it's Christmas, and you're supposed to participate. But I'm still not so sure. Maybe you could cut off parts that aren't necessary, and maybe you could come out a little better on the other end.
Okay.
It's kind of a practical view of it.
So one thing we need to do is set some goals of what you want to accomplish out of these counseling sessions. And you originally said on your um, initial interview that it was the anxiety that was bothering you the most.
Well, I have the feeling if I'm going to have to participate, I need to know how to make it not bother me. If that makes any sense
Okay.
from what you do, and not bother me because it's going to bother me. So I have to make it not bother me. And I don't know if that means, just that sort of like cold turkey. You just bite your lip and say, "That's it. I'm done. I'm not gonna worry about it." Or there's things I can do. I don't know, suggestions that would help me rationalize or help me to deal with the negative feelings I get.
Mm-hmm. So you want it to not bother you, even though you know it's going to bother you
Well, it bothers me
anyway?
now. I have a
Okay.
history of it bothering me. Yeah, and it's starting already. Sure.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what does that feel like, or what are the
Well, it's
outcomes, or
aggravating, and it's me in a bad mood,
okay,
and it's me having to, move money around and this credit card and that credit card, and God forbid, applying for another one. That's crossed my mind, and so I'm like, well, what are you doing? Don't do that. You know, and money's this. When there's a lot of it, it's not a problem. When there's not enough, it's a problem. So yeah, I mean, the other way would be, I guess I could be saying to help me to be strong enough to say, nope, not doing it, period, and then not feel bad about that.
okay.
you know.
Um, so back to setting the goals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not bothering you is kind of hard to judge whether you've attained that goal or not. Is there something that's more specific?
Well, I guess what I mean by not bothering me is to, I mean, am I supposed to think of the greater good? Am I supposed to just put myself and my efforts aside and say, no, this anonymous brother-in-law is who I should be thinking about? I mean, I guess that's what I'm wondering. I mean, how do you how does anyone deal with this when it's not a when I feel like it's just a bad idea?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Would it help if you you mentioned earlier that the gift exchange you thought was rigged? Would it help if it was rigged and that you got someone that you knew? Is there
Well,
someone that you would
yeah,
prefer to buy
yeah. I mean,
presents
I
for,
like her
gift
dad a
presents
whole lot.
to?
We get him something anyway, but this exchange thing is just unnecessary. I don't want to be so hard headed. Just unnecessary. It just doesn't make sense. I just don't know why. And so that's yeah, I mean, I guess, if I knew the person better, sure, or something, but, and in turn, I should say, someone gets my name, but, they don't know me, so I get something that I really wasn't needing or looking for, or, you know. And I hate for it to get down to this, but I think it's more about the money, the money, and then when you add it all together, the sort of what it does to us in our financial situation, because we both work hard, but you know, so I'm not sure.
So then, would an accurate goal involve something to do with how much money you spend?
Well, absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, not just on that, but maybe on everything. But that's hard to do. Is I don't, and anybody can attest. It's difficult because things are expensive. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to finishing up, and I don't think that we're quite where we need to be on setting goals, because I think that's really important.
Well, is there something I'm missing? Is there something I need to be? Maybe we just deal with the negativity. How do I not let it become so negative to where Christmas equals like problem versus, being joyful as
Well, it's not something that you're missing so much, but I do think we're going to have to set maybe an external goal, have an extrinsic goal as well as an intrinsic goal that involves your feelings and your emotions. And so maybe we can get into that next time.
Sure.
Talking about maybe eliminating some of the negative feelings you have, or
Well,
at least
that would be good.
lessening them.
Yeah.
So today we went over a lot of the feelings that you're having and the demands that you feel your wife's family is placing on you. Talked about the money and the worries that that's causing you. We started to talk a little bit about setting some goals. So until we meet the next time, maybe if you could sit down and figure out how much money you would feel comfortable with spending, what amount would not cause you worry, and what amount would cause you worry, and at least just so we can get some parameters for that.
You mean not just for the one gift? You mean for the
For the whole season. It seems to be
I actually do that, but that number is always surpassed. We always go way past that number.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe next time we can talk about how not to go past that number, or
true,
or what to do with that. In that case, what I'd like for you to do for homework is maybe when you're dealing with money, or you're paying the goals, or you're looking at your budget, I make notes on note cards, maybe if you wanted to do that, or keep a little notebook of when you start to feel anxious about money, or about talking to your wife, or about the presents, and just note what time of day it was, what you were feeling, what triggered it, because that'll help us look for some trends and some patterns. Was there anything else you needed to talk about?
No. Just, we'll continue to meet before Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Why do you say that?
Because it gets more intense as we get closer to Christmas.
That's okay.
We'll have to make those decisions, those shopping decisions that,
Would you like to meet sooner than a week then?
No, that's fine. Yeah. Because I'll just be working this week, and then, if it'll be on Sunday again, it'll be after the weekend. So then I'm sure there'll be something to talk about.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.